Have you ever felt like confidence is something meant for other people, but not for you? An emperor who ruled the mighty Roman Empire once spent his nights reflecting deeply, writing about his fears, failures, and how to stand firm amidst life's storms. Marcus Aurelius wasn't born confident, but it was his Stoic philosophy, unpretentious and grounded, that helped him build unwavering inner strength. Welcome to Wisdom Daily. In today's video, we'll explore 10 principles for building confidence based on Marcus Aurelius's philosophical masterpiece, Meditations. These aren't superficial, positive hacks, but profound insights to help you remain steady in life's chaos. If you're looking for genuine confidence that starts from within, this video is for you. Part 1. Building Inner. Strength Lesson 1. Building character confidence isn't something you pretend to have. It originates from your core, from character, not public speaking skills or outward appearances. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who lived amidst constant warfare, once wrote, "Ask yourself at what price you're willing to trade your integrity. Never sell it cheaply." This isn't just moral advice. It's a guiding principle for building unshakable confidence. Character is foundational, not superficial. You might wear expensive suits and speak eloquently, but without strong inner values, that confidence will crumble at the first sign of difficulty. Conversely, if you live honestly, uphold principles, and know exactly what you'd never compromise, you won't need to act confident. You'll already embody confidence. Here's a thought worth reflecting upon. People with strong character tend to be calm. They don't need noise or boastfulness because the steadfastness in their values naturally commands respect. So, where can you start? Ask yourself 3 simple yet powerful questions. Am I living according to what I genuinely believe is right? Am I behaving like the person I aspire to become? If someone observed my actions when no one else was watching, would they see me as trustworthy? No immediate answers needed. Carry these questions with you. Character isn't forged in a morning. It's the result of thousands of small decisions every day. Lesson 2. Accepting yourself. When you can't accept yourself, you always feel like you're living in someone else's skin. Marcus once wrote, "Nature has given you everything you need to face this life." Ironically, many of us constantly compare ourselves, negate our worth, and hurt ourselves chasing impossible standards. Accepting yourself isn't surrendering. It means clearly seeing yourself without exaggerating strengths or diminishing weaknesses. Marcus never claimed perfection in Meditations. Instead, he honestly documented times he felt anger, selfishness, and exhaustion, gently guiding himself back to what was right. That's true strength. Stop battling yourself. You don't need to be the best person in the room. You just need to be the most honest with yourself. Practice sitting quietly, without social media or distractions, simply being with yourself. It's an essential skill for confident people, not running away from their inner reality. And when you can genuinely say, "I'm not perfect, but I still deserve love, respect, and opportunities to grow," that's when you truly enter a place of freedom where no one can strip away your confidence. Lesson 3. Cultivating positive thinking. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius wrote this nearly 2,000 years ago. Remarkably, in today's chaotic world, it still holds true. You might have an appealing appearance, a stable job, and good friends. But if your mind is filled with self-destructive thoughts, none of these will matter. You are not your thoughts. Yet your thoughts shape how you perceive the world and ultimately influence how you treat yourself. We often treat negative thoughts as absolute truths. I'm not good enough. I'll fail again. Others must be judging me. Sound familiar? These thoughts aren't based in reality. They stem from limiting beliefs, unhealed wounds, and an unforgiven past. Marcus excelled at confronting these thoughts directly. He observed his fears, doubts, and weaknesses openly, writing them down to engage in a dialogue rather than to escape from them. If Marcus, a Roman emperor, could acknowledge his inner contradictions, you too can start with these simple questions. Is this thought based on reality or just an assumption? If my best friend had this thought, what would I say to them? How can I reframe this thought positively yet realistically? For example, thought, I've failed so many times, I'll probably fail again. Marcus would suggest, do what is right, fulfill your duty. Let outcomes unfold as they naturally will. Instead of predicting failure, focus on what you can control. Cutting out negative self-talk. One effective technique is writing down negative thoughts on paper. Next to them, write down a more rational version. Rewrite your thoughts, not to deny them, but to have a healthier dialogue with yourself. Positive thinking isn't blind optimism. It's choosing to view things from a perspective that empowers you rather than confines you in fear. Positive thinking won't make you superhuman, but it creates fertile ground where lasting confidence can flourish daily. Part 2. Action and discipline. Lesson 4. Stop procrastinating, start taking action. Have you ever had an amazing idea, but never actually took action on it? Marcus Aurelius had a simple yet straightforward answer that leaves no room for excuses. Stop waiting. Turn your desires into actions. We live in an age where planning has almost become a legitimate form of procrastination. You make notes, you do research, you wait for the right moment. But ultimately, you find yourself still stuck at the starting line. Taking imperfect action is the first real step toward building confidence. You can't simply think yourself into confidence. You must do something, even something small, to prove to yourself that you can. Each action you take is a brick laid into your foundation of confidence. Remember, you don't need to know everything before you begin. You just need to begin in order to learn everything you need along the way. Here's a practical example. If you want to exercise but keep putting it off, instead of looking for the perfect workout plan, just start with 10 push-ups today. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for motivation. Action itself generates motivation. Marcus didn't write about ideal plans. He wrote about discipline, about committing to daily duties, even when tired or bored. And this consistency is why he wasn't just a philosopher. He was an emperor who earned respect. Lesson 5. Keeping promises to yourself and others. Keeping your word isn't just ethical. It's how you tell yourself, I can trust myself. Confidence doesn't arise spontaneously. It's built gradually each time your actions match your words. Marcus Aurelius wrote, live as if every action is recorded, and make sure it's a record you're not ashamed to read again. When you fulfill a promise, even a small one like waking up on time or finishing a task as planned, you reinforce the idea that you are reliable. Conversely, every time you break a promise, even to yourself, you slowly erode your inner trust. An unkept promise is an invisible burden. You might not notice it, but your mind does. It deducts points from your internal credibility ledger, and each deduction makes you hesitant to take action in the future. Choose your promises carefully. Once made, fulfill them, not just for others, but primarily for yourself. Lesson 6. Taking responsibility for your actions. True confidence doesn't come from shifting blame. It comes from your willingness to say, I take responsibility. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, blame does not lie in external circumstances, but in how we respond to them. When you blame others, circumstances, or luck, you give up your control. Confidence emerges only when you realize you have choices and the power to change things. Here's a common example. You arrive late due to traffic. This might be true. But responsibility lies in not planning extra buffer time. Admitting responsibility isn't about blaming yourself. It's about empowering yourself to take control. A confident person isn't always right, but they're always ready to take responsibility when they're wrong. By developing the habit of owning your actions, you strengthen yourself internally. And that inner strength becomes visible externally, in your eyes, your posture, and your steady voice. Lesson 7. Listen more, talk less about yourself. Have you ever noticed that during conversations, most of us are just waiting for our turn to speak? We talk about ourselves, our experiences, and our opinions, often without genuinely listening to others. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who sat on the throne of Rome, surprisingly advised, "Develop the habit of paying close attention to what others say and try to understand them from within." True confidence doesn't need to prove itself through constant talking. Many people talk excessively because they fear being forgotten or perceived as boring. But do you know what truly creates natural charisma? A person who genuinely listens, fully present, without interrupting or craving the spotlight. Modern neuroscience shows us something fascinating. When you talk about yourself, your brain releases dopamine, a pleasure-inducing chemical. That's why people often become addicted to talking about themselves. And precisely because of this, those who can restrain themselves and genuinely focus on others become rare and deeply trusted. Consider a real-life example. Recall a time when someone spent an entire conversation genuinely asking about you and listening attentively without interrupting. How did you feel afterward? Most people would say, "I felt valued." This is exactly how you build trust and confidence without needing to speak much, and most importantly, when you no longer feel the need to prove yourself to others, that's when you've truly proven yourself to yourself. This is the peak of confidence, self-control in speech and open-hearted listening. Lesson 8. Remember life's impermanence, memento mori. You could leave this life at any moment. This statement isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to awaken you. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." Memento mori, remember that you must die, is one of the core principles of Stoicism. It isn't about sadness or despair. It's about stopping the postponement of what truly matters. Stop living according to others' expectations. Stop delaying expressions of love. Stop letting fear imprison your dreams. We often live as if our time is infinite. Yet, interestingly enough, you won't fear others' judgments if you remember they too will eventually pass, just like you. You'll cherish every conversation if you realize it might be your last. You'll confidently say, "I will start today." If you understand, tomorrow is not guaranteed. Consider a relatable example. Many people in America, after facing crises such as losing loved ones, near-death experiences, or serious illnesses, often say, "I wish I'd lived true to myself sooner." You don't need to wait for tragedy to awaken. Marcus provided this wisdom thousands of years ago. Confidence isn't about never fearing death. It's about knowing you're living meaningfully, each day, each moment. When you live as though every day is a gift, you no longer need anyone else's validation. Lesson 9. Ignoring negative opinions of others. Are you letting other people define who you are? A single criticism, a judgmental glance, or one negative comment can make you feel smaller instantly. Marcus Aurelius provided powerful reassurance. When someone offends you, look into their soul and you'll find no reason to feel angry or anxious. Others' opinions aren't the ultimate truth. People might see you as not good enough, too ambitious, or mistaken. But they don't live your life. More importantly, they're also wrestling with their own fears and insecurities. Many criticize because they are limited by what they themselves have never dared to do. For example, you want to start a business. They say you're unrealistic. You want to write a book. They say you lack experience. You want to change. They insist. People like you can. But if Marcus, a philosopher and emperor, faced criticism, even from those within his own court, then you certainly don't need everyone's approval to live authentically. You can't control others' thoughts, but you can completely control what you choose to believe. Confidence grows when you select which voices to heed and which to ignore. Your challenge today. When someone says something negative about you, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, is this true or just a reflection of their own fears? If it's not true, return that gift. You don't have to carry it with you. Lesson 10. Create daily habits for building confidence. Confidence doesn't come from one special moment. It comes from ordinary, repeated habits. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up each day feeling like a saint. But he wrote consistently, reflected every night, and examined himself daily. Here are 2 simple yet incredibly powerful tools. 1. Write a gratitude journal every night. Write down 3 things you feel grateful for. Even small things. A pleasant phone call, a delicious meal, gentle sunlight in the afternoon. When you're grateful, you can't simultaneously feel a sense of lack, and someone who doesn't feel lacking naturally becomes more confident. 2. Acknowledge 1 to 3 things you did well each day. They don't need to be huge accomplishments. For instance, I didn't procrastinate on something important. I said something kind to someone. I exercised for 15 minutes. Each acknowledgement is a small brick, building your inner wall of confidence. Why is this effective? Because it reshapes your perception. It shows your mind, I am valuable. I am making progress. I'm not standing still. The more you focus on your achievements, however small, the more you trust in your capabilities. Confidence is an outcome, not a starting point, and that outcome comes from persistently living correctly, each day, even when nobody's watching. Marcus didn't write his journals to post online. He wrote for himself, and nearly 2,000 years later, we are learning from those same personal reflections. You can do the same, and perhaps one day, your small daily habits could inspire someone else. You've just explored 10 powerful lessons from one of history's greatest minds, Marcus Aurelius. Each lesson, if sincerely applied, can help you build a solid foundation of confidence that won't easily be shaken by life's chaos. You've learned how to build character, accept yourself, adjust your thinking positively, and beyond that, to act with discipline, listen deeply, and cherish each moment of life's impermanence. What's the common thread connecting all these lessons? Confidence isn't something you find externally. It's something you cultivate internally, every day, through each action, each choice. You don't have to shout to be noticed. Simply live truthfully, authentically, and let your inner calmness become your loudest voice. Confidence isn't loud. It's the quiet peace that comes when you no longer need validation from anyone else. If the insights from Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism resonate with you today, subscribe to Wisdom Daily and continue exploring ideas that can transform your daily life. And don't forget to leave a comment below. Which lesson out of these 10 resonates the most with your current life? Are you actively building your confidence from the inside every day? We'd love to hear your story. If each of us begins with one small change, one action, one thought, one promise kept, then confidence is no longer distant, but becomes a meaningful journey you're already walking. See you in the next video on Wisdom Daily. Stay true to yourself and live authentically.